Okay. To the Supreme God, to my spiritual teacher, to all the spiritual teachers, holy masters, all the saints, holy angels, spiritual helpers, and all the great ones, we humbly invoke for your divine guidance, divine love, divine blessings, for illumination, for divine oneness, divine bliss, divine help, divine health, and divine protection. We thank you in full faith. I thank God for his kindness, for his love, and for his support, as always. Okay, so last class, we did talk about acceptance. We talked about God, and then we spoke about how everything is within us only, and then how we come here to just experience um, all kinds of creations of God. So there are higher dimensions, there are lower dimensions, right? In the lower dimensions, as I've already told, it'll be like a pyramid, okay? So in the higher dimensions, let's say God is here in this center point. As we come down to lower dimensions, dimension in the sense awareness, okay? So God here is at the highest point of his awareness. But as we keep coming down in terms of awareness, if anybody doesn't understand what is awareness, do unmute yourself and ask me so that I can explain it properly and then go ahead. Awareness means sense of knowing who we truly are and acting as per that, behaving as per that, living as per that. That is called awareness. If you had the highest awareness, of God, you wouldn't see separation in anybody. You would see that oneness, you would see like everybody as your own creation, and you would not have that feeling of separation at all. But then as we come down in terms of awareness, that sense of knowing drops. So now let's say you, me, everybody, we are in the lowest form of awareness. Okay, we are in the lowest form. It's called the third dimension. Some may be in the fourth, but the third and the fourth dimension is said to hold duality. Duality means there is always an opposite of what you believe. Always. Every single thing has an opposite aspect of it. And it always has to be in that sense of balance. So what is a journey? If everything is in balance, if all of my belief systems that are within me have an opposite portion of it. And what is my journey? My journey is to basically experience every single thing I believe. Of course, I'm anyway experiencing every single thing I believe, but universe will keep bringing me something that is opposite of what I believe. Either I would have finished experiencing that, or I'm still experiencing that, or I'm yet to experience that. So as long as I'm in duality, every single thing that is opposite of each other, every emotion has an opposite aspect of each other. That is why we say there is a good and there is a bad, there is a night and there is a day, right? There is, you like something or you dislike something. These are very high level stuff. But then if you go through really deep at every single frequency of energy, there is some emotion. And that emotion has an opposite experience also. So these things automatically will be in a balance. You don't have to balance it. You don't have to do anything because God is managing creation, right? It's like creation is automatically self-sustaining. It's not like God is managing creation also. It's already self-sustaining. And there are so many masters, there are so many light beings who are overseeing all these things on a day-to-day basis, on a minute-to-minute basis. There is no sense of time at their level. So they are overseeing the cosmic creations. And if there is any sense of out of balance or something like that, they try to get it. I'm not talking about our nature of out of balance. I'm talking about Let's say if there is any meteorite that has to get exploded, and if something else had to happen, I'm sure at that level they are thinking about all those things. If you look at Hanuman's journey itself, as a child, there was his own soul plan where he had to go, and then um, he went towards the sun as a baby itself and then tried to swallow the sun. But of course, there are so many deep reasons for why that act was done. And it was not just, um, it was not by accident or something. So, but either way, there are so many things that could happen. For example, when we did the divine design, um, there was no, when Earth's, when this entire Earth, Earth's design or Earth's plan started, there were so many masters that joined hands with Earth to basically give this experience of human journey. It was like human body was created, everything like trees and mud and hill and so many other things were created, birds were created, everything was created for this new experience. At the time, there was no plan of Earth to basically go below the fifth dimension. Fifth dimension is the last dimension in which people will have the awareness, enough awareness to be able to say, or the soul, the subtle body will have enough awareness to be able to say, I am so and so, and I am a part of God, and we are all one. All of those things, the eternal truth, right? All of that is aware. People are aware at that level. Below that, I said, right, fourth dimension, third dimension, and all that, there is no sense of awareness. So Earth herself did not want to go to fourth and third, but they did not think that in this journey of all the subtle bodies which were very pure at that time, and all the participants, all the volunteers who wanted to take part in this experiment or in this experience, nobody really, even the light beings who were managing this whole project, did not really think, or that is what is the book says, nobody had a clue that in the next million years, people will actually drop their energy and drop down to fourth dimension and third dimension, even if nobody wanted to go there. See, if we only have experienced some of these things, right? Let's say if you are in great mood someday, everything is going on perfectly, you are in full high, and then let's say you are having a lot of bhakti someday, you're doing a lot of chanting, or someday you are doing, basically you are in really good energy, and everything around you is like perfect, perfect, perfect. Would you really want to drop down from that level? Would you even wish to drop down from that level? Typically, nobody would want to. You'll have someday great awareness, and then you'll be in like great mood, and you wouldn't scold anybody. You'll be fully understanding. So many things will be happening, and lots of miracles will be happening. Let's say you went to the temple, and then somebody gave you the very prasad that you were actually expecting that day. So many such miracles and all will happen, let's say. From that, you're aware, you are observing that all these things are happening, and then you're enjoying. And you really will not want to get down from that level. So this was the status of everybody who were involved in that experience. All the other souls who wanted to take part in this experience, they all joined in. Earth was the very first person who thought about it, and then Earth asked for other light beings to orchestrate or bring together this whole experience, where they created um, let's say a boundary kind of thing, where this whole experience will be conducted, and there will be all these trees and other things. So everything was centered around Earth, all this human journey. Even today, it's still happening. So nobody really expected that people will go drop to third and fourth dimension. But it did happen anyway. And even the masters, even everybody who were even overseeing this whole project, even Earth herself, nobody was even um, aware that they are dropping. Imagine if something is there are these science experiments, right? Let's say you put a frog in the if you put a frog or some, let's say, I think cat or something, Schrodinger's cat or something like that. So if you slowly experience or experience, if the frog experiences heat, like very less heat, if you constantly keep giving that water, they will not even know that they're getting cooked. It's like they'll still be in the water. But then if you put a frog in the hot water, then it will know that it is in the hot water. If we ourselves touch hot water, we will know. But then slowly, we have enough senses to obviously say that, yeah, water temperature is rising. But it is very difficult when slowly everything is raising. And I'll give you one more classic example. You go and carry a newborn baby or a toddler as a not a mother, just as a third party. Let's say a friend or a relative or something, you go and carry that baby, carry it, try to carry it for the whole day. Next day, your hand will be paining. Guarantee. You will have all pains here and all. Because you're not used to carrying that baby. But then the same mother, right from the time the baby is born, she's constantly carrying it every single day, and even the people around her are carrying the baby every single day, and then gradually that baby is growing. Let's say we carried a 6 month old, but then they carried the baby for 6 months. Every single day they are carrying. They'll not have hand pain. Why? Because the hand is slowly getting trained to go to that level of carrying the weight. Similarly, even in the gym, you will be slowly trained to go there. But then suddenly, if you get to that level, then obviously you won't be able to do it. You'll have hand pains. You might probably break. You might break a tendon or some sort of muscle tear or something like that will happen. So here, nobody knew that they are actually going to drop to third dimension, fourth dimension, right? So this happened. So after this happened, even though they did not want it, nobody even expected. Yeah, nobody who really wants to go to duality, who really wants to get out of their senses, go into amnesia and all of that. Nobody wants to go. So they will never get to that level is what was the thing. And they did not even think of putting a boundary after fifth dimension. But as they went lower and lower and lower, only after they went to a very deep level called third dimension, how did we go? I think in I think I may have explained season 2. What happened? Suddenly, now let's say I have a body. Let's say I'm a soul, I'm fully aware. I know I'm going for this experiment and I'm fully aware. Initially, I'm in fifth dimension, let's say. When I joined this entire thing, I was in fifth dimension. I'm fully aware about everything. Everybody's oneness, soul, everything like unity in diversity, everything is there. Let's say I created a lion body, and then that lion body is so majestic, I went into the lion body. A fellow soul of mine, a good friend, let's say a good person who, somebody who I know, everybody knows each other, but then yeah, generally I'll say, just say friend. Now he created a beautiful deer. Now, Earth is meant to be self-sustaining, and there are animals who eat other animals. So it was meant to be like that. It was designed to be like that. Now, I enter a lion body, and then somebody enters into a deer body. Now, what will happen? In that chase, I will go and then kill that deer. Now, what is happening is my friend will think it was not out of spite or anything. He will think, my body died so quickly and I could not really self-sustain myself. I could not stay there on earth to experience all these beautiful things. Now I'm going to do something that will outsmart this lion. And then he becomes something, and then he becomes something else, and then he becomes a hyena who will probably bite the lion, and then maybe the lion will become injured, and then the lion will probably not be able to manage his life. So there are so many things on earth where one person, if you create something, there is always something that is better than, or it is far more beautiful. For example, let's say I create a butterfly and then I become that butterfly. Which means my subtle body is now connected to that body. That is a beautiful butterfly. Now, another person who is coming into this will say, I can create a better butterfly than that, a much more beautiful butterfly. And then he creates a more better butterfly. So if you see, there are so many butterflies which are much ek se badkar ek types. There are so many animals which are ek se badkar ek types. There are so many things, flowers, plants, trees. There are so many things which are like in plenty, different varieties, different species. What happened is, in this journey where they kept creating and kept creating, kept trying to outsmart each other just for the sake of sports. Okay, it was just sport. There was nothing, it was just sportive initially, but over a period of time, it became more like a competition. See, competition is separation. Okay, we realize that competition is separation, where you tend to want to win the other person. And this kept on happening, kept on happening, kept on happening, kept on happening. And it came to a level where people wanted to, in the body, let's say once they enter the body, all this kind of thinking doesn't happen outside the body when they were in that soul level. But they happened to think like this once they entered the body, right? Because again, they're confused. Once they enter the body, that much more awareness is gone. What they've had, that awareness is gone. And in that lack of awareness, they will do only whatever is available to them in their database, which is in their past few bodies that they had taken. That much is the database that they have for earth level, for the journey of earth, that they have built a database which was full of all of these kind of competition and trying to outsmart each other and those kind of things, trying to. So at the fourth dimension level, when they dropped, there was power play. Power play in the sense, I will try to overtake the other person. I will try to control the other person. You can see that in our own lives, right? We try to control our children. We try to threaten them and say, you should do this because that is how it has to be done. Or there are so many ways in which we try to manipulate the other person, even if, let's say, not by strength, we try to manipulate the other person, or we try to um, do some cunning plans to ensure that we get our way. All of these things started happening because we felt we have to win. We have to be more powerful than the other person. Initially, it was like power, but later on, I will get it my way or the highway kind of thing started. And then, there are so many things like abductions and all that happened at an energy level. At an energy level, lots of abductions used to happen. And that is what the book says, right? Where they would conduct experiments to find out how this human body was built. How is it that the subtle body is connected to this human body? How can we create one such experiment again? And lots of such things happened. And then they built clones, they built models, or they built what can I say? They built people who were like armies and stuff like that. And then they tried to do many things. So initially, once the Earth's experiment was wiped out, and it started from scratch once more. But again, also it happened like this. But at that time, Earth told, if you can remember Kurma Avatar in our own times, not in our times, Kurma Avatar in our own Sanatana, in our texts and all of that, where the entire earth was flooded, and Narayan came in the form of Kurma, and then he brought the earth back. That is one story. Even in the Bible, you have this example of great floods, right? All of these are mentioning about the wiping down of everything that was there on earth, and all the bodies were destroyed. And they started it from scratch again, and then they created a new human body, very specifically meant for the third dimension, because the awareness of certain souls who were participating in the experiment had already dropped to third dimension. So there was no way that their awareness could again be brought back until they experience the third dimension fully and come back to that fifth dimension level that they were originally there. So they had to create a body that we have today. Not maybe not we what we have, but then similar body that we have. Um, and Earth herself, Earth's body also had to be changed. The fifth dimensional Earth was very different compared to the third dimensional Earth, where there was a lot more water in the third dimensional Earth, because she had to she needed a lot more water to balance those energies, because the more denseness that is there on Earth, the energy movement is far more lesser. But in fifth dimension, it was all okay. Even though the Earth was slightly having less water, the energy at that level was already very high, so they didn't need so much of water. But in third dimensional space, Earth herself was almost 75% water, because the energy had to move like that. And even our body is 75% to 80% liquid only, because energy has to move. So all these were very important. So they redesigned all these things. And so, all of us are in this third dimensional space. There is no way. There were times where they tried to kill each other. They tried to kill the bodies and hope that they can take the energy of the other person and then go back to their original state, which was fifth dimensional space, where they are fully aware and all. But that could not happen. You cannot really do anything to the other person and then get your lost awareness back. That awareness is all within you. It is just that in the body, when you are connected to a body, you should learn to be able to get to a higher and higher and higher and higher level of awareness. But what actually makes us stay in this lower level of awareness is the belief systems that we have. So in the last class, what did we learn? So many belief systems. For example, in some point, we believed that somebody created a better butterfly. So I should create a far more better butterfly than the other person. So that was a belief that I wanted to create. Or there is a belief that he is having more energy, I'm going to kill him and then get that energy back. So there was a belief system. Unless they tried it, they tried to kill the other person and they realized that they could not get the energy back, but they actually fell lower in that energy. They really, so it was all about doing some things that their head told them, and then they kept doing, and then they learned from those actions. In return, actually what was happening is they had dropped, they were constantly dropping down to lower levels, right? When I say they, I should be able to say that all of us were part of that experiments, and we've taken so many bodies in this whole process. And today, wherever we are, we have traversed so many bodies just to get to this point, just to get to this point of awareness. So we have been there, done it, all kinds of things, right? So what is now our objective? It's not like our soul is already in that high level state. But if you need a body, if that soul needs a body for physical experience, to experience things physically and to be completely self-aware about I am this amsh of God, all of that, when that awareness has to be there, that has to be learned through the body while being in the body. And if you've seen so many journeys in our scriptures, everybody had a body. Everybody would have gone through a journey. Let's say Mirabai went through her own journey. She had a past life. She had so many past lives. And then in her last life, she was Mira. Tulsidas, let's say all of those people. Some chose the Bhakti Marg, some chose, there is nothing like some chose the Bhakti Marg and then some chose the meditation marg. It is not like that. People who have chosen the meditation marg, in the past, they have always been, they have gone beyond bhakti. See, with bhakti is the common aspect for both karma yoga as well as dhyan marg. So you can always finish your karma yoga and come to that equipoised state that everybody is one, everybody is just the same amsh of God, and you will not have any animosity towards everyone. You will, every single experience in your life, you will feel equipoised. Even in the, if that is happening, you'll be like in your center until you come to that state. And then you, why will you come to that state? Unless you have that love for God. So, like I said in my last class, in the initial part of this journey to get out from duality, you have to experience duality and go out. You cannot say that I don't want duality. I'm like this fish out of, I'm like this person who's drowning. I want to get out of this. I want to, please save me, please save me. That is nothing like that. You will come back here again and again and again at a soul level, because you don't want saving. You want to experience. Because people who drop to third dimension level, right, they don't know that they don't want it. They all want it. They all want that joy. They want that power. They want that, all the emotions that came with third dimension, all the good, bad, and ugly, they actually enjoyed it, which is why they were still there. But then who thought that they all dropped, and then all of that? It was the higher level masters, the light beings. They thought, oh my God, these people have dropped, and all of that they thought. But then the people in awareness thought. But then people who are not aware, they will never be able to think that I am actually in a bad state. Nobody will think like that. For example, we have a thief who's always killing and all of those things. He will never think that he's doing a bad thing, because for him, he'll have every reason why he should basically kill and eat, kill and steal. Because he'll feel, yeah, I'm a great thief. I'm a better thief than that thief. So they'll have all competitions in the same line. So in your current level of awareness, nobody can come and tell you what you're doing is wrong. Nobody can come and educate you and come and say that you should be better. Will you learn from them? You will never learn. What you will learn is through your own learnings, through your own beatings, through your own, when your ass gets burnt, through some experience, that is when you will learn. So every single learning experience has to come from within. It cannot come through teachings. Teachings through WhatsApp, through teachings through podcasts, teaching through all these YouTube videos, books, every single thing is giving you like a heads up to say, hey, this is how it is. And if you resonate with this knowledge, just do what it says if you feel like it also. That also is a if you. And then if you feel like it, just follow it, and just keep going, just keep going. And then over time, you like, and then you'll eventually. So it's never like I told you something and then you, oh, Smita told, that's it, I have to start. It is never like that. Even if God comes and gives you Gita Upadesha, you will absolutely not change. Why? Because there is no experiential learning is not there behind it. So unless experience teaches you, you can never build your awareness, right? You can never build your awareness, or you cannot go top. So how can you actually go top? Which means you have to stand on, let's say if you're climbing a ladder, what are you doing? You're climbing on one step, and then you're climbing on another step, and then you leave this step, and then you're climbing on this step. You leave this step and you're climbing on this step. What is happening? You climbed on a step, which means you're experiencing something. While you're experiencing something, you you are asked to leave some belief systems, isn't it? What are those belief systems that are being asked to leave you? Who is going to come and then tell you what are those belief systems that you have to leave? All the POSEs. All the POSEs will come and trigger those belief systems that are within you that you have to leave, or which means you have to let go of. You have to let go of and then go on to catch some new belief systems. And then you have to let go of what you're having today to catch new belief systems. So that is the journey. So there is no way on your way up you can actually hold on to any belief system, any belief system that permanently. There is always an expiry date to it. And how will we know what is the expiry date? How will we know what belief system to leave? Somebody is going to come and then some POC, persons, objects, experiences, situations are going to come and then give you some input through a behavior or through a situation, through experience, something will trigger. When it triggers, what are the feelings that you experience? Do you like those feelings or you don't like those feelings? Are you comfortable with those feelings or you are uncomfortable with those feelings? So whatever makes you feel uncomfortable, okay? If you are in the center, if you are in the center of a belief system, which means you are still holding on to that, okay, that step. You are not leaving that step. You are just on that step. This step you are trying to leave. Okay, all these belief systems are now going to become suffocating for you. It is going to become uncomfortable for you. For example, let's say I used to be having dairy products in the past. Okay. And at some point in my life, situations came, experiences came where it taught me to become a vegan. Right or wrong? Okay, right or wrong. I'm not talking about right or wrong. Okay, in duality, there is nothing like right or wrong. We are trying to move beyond right or wrong. Okay, we are always thinking about right or wrong, right or wrong, right or wrong. But actually, if you have to go higher, you should stop going horizontal. Horizontal means right, wrong, left, right, good, bad, ugly, beautiful. All of those things are parallel to each other. But what are we trying to do? We are trying to ascend. We are trying to go towards our self-realization. We are going to walk our own truth. We are trying to find out who we are. And who we are is not in the horizontal. When we are running behind horizontal, we are actually stuck there. We are like in loop. This is called birth and death cycle. Okay, and we are in cycle. Here only we are rotating, 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 rotating. We are not trying to leave our belief systems. We are just rotating in the same third dimension, maybe up and down, up and down, up. So basically, we are just here only. Okay, it goes in concentric circles like this, right? But there will come a time when you will be pushed to go towards higher, no? So then only all these thoughts about oneness will come. If I'm sharing all these things, if I'm having all these things, these concepts in my head, if I'm able to understand all these things, who do you think did I cook up all these things? I didn't cook up. Somebody put it into my head and I'm just vomiting it here. That's it. And I may have applied it into my own life. And so if I'm also a student only like you all. So it is just that when I'm sharing all these things, that sharing brings me better awareness. That sharing makes it even more clear in my own conscious mind. Always when you share whatever comes to your head concept wise, or when you have shared your own experience, this is I experienced, rather, this is how I applied knowledge in my life. For this particular experience in my life, I applied this knowledge that I had learned, and this is what is the experience I finally got, or this is the outcome I got, and this is what I learned from that. If you start doing this over and over and over again, your growth will be faster. You will actually be able to grow faster. Okay, it's in the spiritual laws, there is something called you will constantly be progressing ahead. That is anyway there. Slowly in that train, you'll be going ahead. But there is also another law which says law of hastening the progress, which means you can fast forward the progress. How? By, if some awareness comes, if some knowledge about this is how you have to do, your inner voice will tell you, Smita, this is right, you do this. But what do? We say, no, yeah, no, I don't feel like doing that, I'll not do. Let's say the awareness comes and says, don't talk rudely to this person. It says, don't talk rudely to that person. What if I listen? What if I actually listen to that voice and I don't talk rudely? But will I actually do that? No, I may still talk rudely because there is this itch. There is this itch. There is that habit within me, the belief system that I need to talk. I need to throw it out. I need to feast my ego. I need to give some food to my ego by throwing two more harsh words at that person, and then I'll feel good about it. So we do that. We do that because of our old habits, because of those belief systems that we are not willing to leave. But if you're able to do it, how much ever you're able to do it, try to do it. That is a journey. See, it's like this. Once you are here, for you to be able to take this leg and go here, it's not very easy. There is a lot of gum. There's a lot of gum. There's a lot of pull in this lower step. Because what do you think is a belief system? A belief system is something that you have put a lot of energy to practice and be comfortable in that state. You actually practiced. For example, maybe I was a non-vegetarian before in some life. And obviously, it took great practice for me to become a vegetarian itself. And did I become a vegan overnight? No, it took me so many years to embrace veganism like properly. And it was not an overnight journey because vegetarianism was already in my roots. It was already like deep into all my cells. The habits were so deep. Like, let's say, if I'm making more kolambu, then, or that curry, the very first thing I would think about is the curd that we get so quickly in the market. But then when I went vegan, I was hardly having any idea how to even, I didn't even have the idea of vegan curd. So I had somehow vegan curd knowledge came, and then next step was making that curd for all my children. And it was such a big task for me. But then I anyway did. It was a lot of effort, which means you're putting a lot of effort. You're putting a lot of effort to leave what you are very comfortable with. Okay, it's not an easy journey, friends, to be able to let go of your previous belief systems and then embrace new belief systems is not an easy journey, but you still have to do that. It is necessary. If you don't do that, what will happen? The universe will give you experiences where you will be forced to leave it. It will pull your leg from here and then it will put your leg here. There is no way you can stay in one place just because you don't want to go. The whole journey is about it's like it's constantly happening. This is constantly happening, but this ego thinks that I am doing it. No, ego is not doing it. Ego has no clue which step is getting removed, which belief system is getting added, which belief system is getting removed. Ego doesn't have a clue. Do you have a clue? Or do I have a clue? Like while I'm sitting and talking, do I know which belief system is coming, which belief system is going? I have no clue. I means because I'm in my body consciousness, I'm in the ego, I'm in this distorted ego as of now. I don't have any clue. But what I know, as per the teachings, is my POCs are going to tell me what are those belief systems that are ready to leave me. So all I have to do is, if I'm so concerned about going to and reaching my goal, which is, let's say, self-realization or moksha, or getting out of this birth-death cycle, which is this duality, which is that vicious cycle, I need to be able to follow some knowledge that actually feels resonating to me, right? So that knowledge says that you, the ego, have no clue which belief system is coming, which belief system is going. You just have to be willing to watch it. That's all. You should just be willing to not interfere in the process. If you interfere, what will happen will anyway happen, but you will undergo a lot more suffering. That suffering means you have built a more stickiness, right? You've built a lot more gum here. So which means more experiences are going to come to remove the gum that you newly put here. Every resistance that you put is a new gum. Every resistance that you put is a new gum. Every insistence that we put is also a new gum. Insistence means what? Sometimes we insist, right? I want things to be in this way only. That is also a gum only. You should allow things to, for example, let's say we say, hey, can you, in our family only, right? Even I do a lot of instances, insistence. Let's say I say, can you all not um, in the living room, for example? Sometimes when people sit, all the chairs are this side and that side. They take out the chair to keep their leg or something like that, and then the chair is just like that, and it is not in its own place. And when the maid is coming to sweep, everything is everywhere, and then she doesn't sweep properly. So all of these are all bunch of belief systems that we have. Oh yeah, if these chairs are like this, then the maid will not sweep properly. And it will happen as per that only. Probably at some time it happened, and then eventually we made a belief system, and then that continued to happen. So there is no way our ego will be able to cook up and say why, what is happening, how did it become so strong in my life, and why do I have all of these. Some towards some people, they wouldn't have been done anything in your life. They would be very good people. They will be like totally respectful and all that, but somehow you'll not like them. Why? Who knows? We don't have any clue, because there is some energy issues, energy conflicts. Why? Because there are some belief systems which will are telling you that this person is not somebody who has to be entertained in your life, who you don't have to love so much. Okay, they have done all of these things. Some cooked up story will be there in some belief systems, some head. We may not be aware of that. So like this, we have already to make something feel real for us. Okay, it is not like some, whatever belief systems we have are right. There is nothing right or wrong about belief systems. It is just that you have built a lot, put a lot of energy to make it strong. It's like a lot of gum you have put to put your leg there and stick yourself there. Okay. Now, to be able to remove that quick glue, what is that called? Feviquick. And then remove that Feviquick and then be able to take that leg here is not an easy journey. And you can't just remove the leg like this, right? You have to remove it inch by inch, one piece, two piece like this. You'll do like this, like this, like this. And then you'll remove and then you'll go keep it here. So that is a journey of acceptance. It's not like you'll actually go here 100%. Acceptance. You'll not be able to go here 100%. You'll be able to go in installments. And then you'll go here. Right? So as you keep going like this only, then that awareness will improve. Initially, you may want, yeah, now I understand that I should not be angry at this person. I should be able to accept him 100%. All that you'll have in your head. Now knowledge has come. And that knowledge has become strong also. And you want to do it also. That much of gum has been removed. But then as you keep trying to do it, you'll realize that it is actually very hard. It's not so easy, because old habits, that gum is still there. The old habits are still there. It's still pulling you back. It still feels comfortable to shout at them. It still feels good to shout back at them. All of that is there. And then again, after all of that, you're telling yourself, next time I'll see if I can apply this knowledge. And your the ego is like that. Ego is like that. It'll try to make all these plans. But somewhere we need to believe that I'm not the one who's executing. The reason why I still have all this resistance is because I have only that much of awareness. That much of, in that entire journey of evolution, I've gone to a point where I'm able to think at least this much. Then as you keep going in that awareness, you will be able to go and do much better, much better, much better, much better, much better, and then able to go. So the journey of acceptance of who you are, like I said, you have to step on some part of duality of yourself to be able to sample it and then say, yes, oh, this was also within me, is it? Oh, this is also my nature, is it? Is it? Oh, this is also my personality, because your personality is so huge. Your personality, of your understanding of who you are is so huge. You have no clue of who you truly are. Okay. So it is going to take a lot of time, or not more than a lot of time. It's going to take great awareness for you to be able to realize who you truly are. And every single time you realize who you truly are, like for example, um you let's say you saw yourself, um let's say somebody had come home. Okay, you had made this nice pulao, but you also know that your children haven't eaten it. For whatever reason, they have not eaten it. You will notice that your inclination might be to basically keep some pulao for them, and then maybe give some to them, give some to the guest. What if there is so many guests that you won't be able to leave anything for your children? So it takes great awareness to be able to say, it's okay, I'm going to cook something else for my children, or there is dosa batter inside the fridge. Let me give all of this pulao to the guests. It takes that awareness. So this is growth. This is growth, to be able to put somebody else before your body, your body, your bodies, which means when I say your body and your bodies, what belongs to your body. So your bodies means I want the pulao. What belongs to your body is, like, say, your children, your loved ones, or whatever, who you have some favoritism and all of that, right? It takes great awareness, or some more awareness, to be able to say, I will give them first, and then whatever is left is for me, or I can arrange something else for me, that idea, or I will settle with, let's say, fruits for today, something beyond, something. It's not more of a compromise. Compromise is to say, cha, that, so it's a feeling of dislike. Okay, compromise is also a feeling of dislike. You are doing it by force. But I'm not talking about compromise. I'm talking about a state where you say, I'm okay with being this. I'm actually more than happy to do this. So that also is a state. So it takes great awareness to come to this point. So every single part of yourself, you should be able to accept. There are so many things that, first, I've told in the last class also, knowledge will come first. All this understanding that is coming to you is coming first. And then if you feel like doing it, experience comes to you, and then it will nudge you. It will say, hey, it will remind you. Okay, those, something inside you will pop up. A thought is going to pop up about the teachings of the class. Did you try to know when I should pull back the teaching of the class? No, you don't know. That is why I'm saying we are actually an instrument of God. We are not doing anything out of that. If we think that we are in control, you are sadly going to be mistaken at some point in your life. We are not in control. The whole point of surrender is to basically let go and just be in that flow. And to be in that flow is also something that we have to learn. That is also coming through awareness. So some thought comes into your head, the teachings, all that comes, and then you'll feel, oh yeah, I can apply it here, no? And then you'll apply. And then you'll see, oh, I couldn't apply fully. I couldn't accept myself fully. This much only I was able to accept myself. What is the meaning of accept myself? To be able to see yourself feeling angry, to be able to see yourself being guilty, to be able to see yourself being anxious or in fear, all those emotions and feelings, you're able to experience it without the effect of the belief system. See, today what is happening, these belief systems are there within us as cages, I told you, right? Inside them, we have trapped one emotion. It is like emotion is now imprisoned by a belief system. Now, fear is imprisoned by a belief system that if XYZ happens, then for example, let's say your child is writing an exam and you are in fear that if they see TV before the exam, then that's it, gone. Fail only, or maybe they are not going to get good marks, or something will happen. Some issues are going to happen. This is a belief system. Fear is not, fear as such, right? Any emotion for that matter is not good or bad. It is just there. It's a lower frequency emotion or it's a higher frequency emotion. Higher frequency emotion are closer to God. So it feels like comfortable, because we are, when you go, as you go closer to God, God's state, highest awareness, the higher emotions, the higher frequency emotions like joy or gratitude or that Satchidanand, all those things, all those kind of emotions are very, very high. So when you are in that high state, satisfaction, contentment, all these things are high level emotions, right? So they are, since they are closer to God, when you are experiencing those things, you will actually feel like more divine and more divine. But the lower frequency emotions doesn't mean that they are bad. They are just emotions. If you look at many saints, or if you hear some of the enlightened people, what they will tell is use your fear and channel it to do something creative. You can use it as a creative energy, all that they will tell, because there is no difference between fear, there's no difference between anger. They don't see differences with these emotions. But all that we have to do is detach the belief system that comes with that. The reason, the reason why fear is fearful, the reason why anger is hateful, the reason why guilt is not very comfortable, the reason why anxiety is very uncomfortable, the reason, okay, that reason you have to subtract. That strength has to come. You have to pile that strength, or you have to, that awareness will give you that strength. If awareness has not come, keep trying, keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. Some awareness would have come, will keep coming. See, when knowledge has come, no, it means that the journey of making you do it also is on the way. That much of confidence you should have. It is on the way. Have trust and faith on God's system to say that if somebody is, if God has given me this opportunity of the satsang, if I'm getting all this knowledge to get out of my own sufferings, it is because that journey to get there is already happening. When I'm going to get there, that is anyway another thing. For each person, the way to get there, how strong the ego is, how much you're willing to let go, all that is there. With some egos will have a lot more gum there. So that lot more gum needs a lot more experiences to be able to realize that that gum should be removed like this. So there is always, let's say there are 10 things that keeps the gum strong. There are another 10 things that are opposite of that, that should come as experience to remove you and then get you out of that gum. So universe will arrange for all those things. We don't have to worry. At an ego level, we don't have to worry. We just have to be willing to be aware. How much ever God has given, that much of awareness. Be willing to see it with that kind of eyes and say, oh, this person is a pose, and then he is giving me this trigger, and this is the feeling I'm thinking about. Now I'm feeling angry, now I'm feeling fearful, now I'm feeling stressed, now I'm feeling this, now I'm feeling that. You stay with that feeling, because feelings are imprisoned. You have imprisoned those feelings by not experiencing them. It's like when we dropped to the third dimensional space. I gave you that story in the beginning, right? When we dropped to all of these states, we actually did not experience that fully. All these lower emotions were very alien to the divine beings like us. It was very alien. We did not even know what lower emotions feels like, right? Higher emotions are very, very like familiar, but lower emotions were not familiar to us. So something that is not familiar to you, what will you do? You try to avoid it. So we avoided feeling the fear. We avoided feeling. So feeling means we will experience it, and we have to allow it to go. It has to, we have to become like that conduit. If you are in fear, if you're feeling fear at some point, stay with that fear. Don't react and do something and try to cut off the POSE who's trying to bring you the fear, or the situation that is bringing you fear. Something or the other is giving you fear. No, it's triggering fear. We try to cut off that only, but that is not the process of experiencing fear. Because what are we trying to do? We want the fear to go away. But the fear will not go away if we are actually not willing to stay with the fear and experience that fully. And the only way we will stay with the fear and experience it fully is by removing the belief system that is actually making it fearful or hateful or uncomfortable. So why are we saying that this belief system is should be subtracted? Because belief system makes us uncomfortable. It's not the emotion itself. The emotion has to be experienced. Only then it will go out. And once it goes out, that means that much we have finished. If we are able to stay in that state without reacting or trying to make it go away, trying to resist, trying to insist that such things should not happen to me. Don't bring me such experiences. We are trying to educate the pose. And then we are trying to give instructions to the pose. So many things we keep doing, right? Just to make ourselves feel comfortable. So all those things when we are not doing, initially we will not do all that, because initially it is still new to us, no? So initially we will still keep correcting. Half we will do, little more we will do, little more we will apply, little more we will apply, little more we will apply. Then over time, then only we will apply. Just give me a minute. So we have to be able to stay there in that point, which means, I'll give you an example. Let's say your neighbor is fighting. Okay, your neighbors, they are fighting. There is a loud noise going on. They are fighting and all of that. Will you go interfere with them in their business? You will not go interfere, right? Why? Because it's none of your business. You will not interfere. It feels very natural to you to be able to listen to all of that fighting and shouting, and still not feel responsible to be able to go and then um, stop that issue, because it's happening inside their house. Similarly, you should be able to detach, or detach to the belief system, and be able to say, it's okay, let it happen. So in Bhagavad Gita, they call this endurance. Endurance. They call it sweet endurance. Sweet endurance means you're just being there in that state, going through it without making a fuss. You're not making a fuss. You are just being there in that state of being fearful or this or that. Because you know now, because of the teachings or whatever that new knowledge, you know that I'm feeling uncomfortable when this happens to me because of what is already inside me, which is my own belief system. So I'd rather be willing to let it go. So when you stay with that and not act as per your old habit, which is to shout back, which is to resist, which is to insist, and all of those things, then that belief system, the ego, everybody will not hold. It will not have energy. You're basically stop. You're not putting any more energy. You're choosing to not put any more energy to that cage. And as soon as you say, I will not put energy to this cage because it does not make sense to me anymore, I don't believe it anymore, which is why I'm still not willing to hold that real estate. Okay, it's like a real estate. You're trying to look for, you're trying to sell it off. You're trying to give it off. You're trying to donate that property or whatever it is. Now, so that cage is something that you're giving it off. Okay, so when that happens, you are putting less energy, less energy, less energy, right? And that cage will melt. And that fear, which one day you are not able to fully release, which was trapped inside that cage will fully go off. That is when you would have reached that 100%. And that is what is called enlightenment, or self-realization, or you can say liberation at to that extent. One cage. One cage, to the extent of one cage, you are now self-realized. You are no longer bound to, or you're no longer entangled to this sense of duality, or this cage, or this entangle. You're not entangled to this cycle of birth and death to that extent. Okay. So like this, you keep doing, keep doing, keep doing, keep doing. You keep accepting yourself, all your negativities, all your positives. You should be willing to be able to accept and say, so be it. So what? For example, let's say there were so many things I would want to do, right? It feels right. It feels right to do so many things. For example, if if in my own experience, right? So there was in few years back, like 2 years or 3 years back, there was a pigeon that was lying on our terrace. It was almost dead. Like no, 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 correct. There was some other bird in the fight, in some fighting. One pigeon, some other bird, I think, cut half of the neck of one pigeon, and then it fell down. And then I did not have enough awareness to be able to take ownership and then go to the pigeon shelter on my own. I had my daughter push me and then tell, Mom, no, 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 we have to take it to the pigeon shelter. I was like, I was so scared to even hold it in my hands because it felt so different to me. For me, that was my, so this is what is called acceptance. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm a vegan and I'm pro animals, all that is there. But then, yeah, you are not even, I felt like, what is this? I'm not even, I'm like, I'm thinking about, oh, I'm so empathetic to animals or all that. But then I'm not even willing to actually take quick measures to take it to the pigeon shelter. And I'm hesitating so much. And I'm scared. And there are so many feelings that were coming out of me. And this is what is called acceptance. You should be able to take, you should be able to say, my expectations are here, but oh, I'm actually here. I'm here. You will realize that you're here, but you expected yourself to be here. You have to be able to accept yourself here also. Oh my God, I thought I was here, but I'm actually here. Fine, so be it. So what? But I learned over a period of time. I got multiple pigeon experiences after that. And then I have tried to take it with little bit less more nudges from other people. I was willing to hold it in my hand and then willing to go do it with faster action. It did not happen overnight, right? It did not happen overnight. It took time. It took time. And then maybe this journey is teaching me all those things. So like that, there are so many things within you that you may think that, oh, you're this great person, so and so, you're, this is your nature. But you may not want, you'll probably not be able to do that so easily. Some things comes very naturally to you, some things are not coming naturally to you, but knowledge is, there is so much of knowledge that says you should be doing it. But what if you can't do it? Accept it. Accept it, because we are in this journey of self realization. Unless you're able to realize yourself here, realize means understand who you truly are. If you're not able to realize today in this moment who I am, how, what is the guarantee that you'll be able to accept yourself when you are in this full awareness? Is it possible to go here with the attitude of lack of acceptance? Is it possible? Is it possible to fully realize who you truly are if you're not willing to realize yourself completely now itself? So in your good, bad, and ugly state today, you should accept yourself without a fuss. That is very important. That is what is called acceptance. And that fussy, lack of fuss is going to come only when, and in that lack of fuss, you should be able to stay with that emotion. Stay with that emotion. It will come slowly, slowly, slowly. You'll get the stamina to stay there. Initially, you may not even get the idea to stay there. Yeah, you listen to all this class, everything is fine. For some, you will stay. In some cases, you will not be able to stay. That is also there. So wherever you are able to stay, enjoy it, experience it. That part, that the cage will keep melting also. How is the cage melting? You're not putting your energy there because you stopped believing that it is necessary. God is basically melting that belief system within you, because there are so many things that will happen for that. Inside the mind there will be some um, let's say the mind, or inside your subtle body there are some storages that are there, no, memories and whatever storage is there. Who is actually removing all those things? When I say it is melting, it is at that level God is acting. So who is doing all that? You are not doing all that. Your ego is not doing anything. Your ego is just willing to stay in that point and not be scared of it, not be will be okay with the uncomfortableness, be okay with all the dislike, be okay with the irritation that you feel on the POSC. All that is just stay there. If there are so many situations where let's say there is a abuse going on. Let's say there's a physical abuse going on in the house, and some people ask, oh, is acceptance equal to tolerating all this abuse? No. No, acceptance is not tolerating anything. Acceptance is never tolerating anything like that. Acceptance means believing that this emotion is within me and I'm not blaming that force. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to stand up for myself. In your belief systems, you can definitely start believing that this person is not the reason for my sadness. You can believe. That is a belief. We are trying to change our belief system. But at that time, when somebody is coming to slap you, hit you, and all those things, they are actually trying to teach you something, because they are trying to trigger something within you. They are doing that act, but it actually is paining, right? Somebody is hitting you and all of that. You should be able to stand up for yourself. All that is not tolerable. But at the same time, don't harness anger. Feel what is the right thing to do. If something feels right to you, always do that. If it feels right to go against that person, leave that person and go lead a separate life, or hold that person's hand and then give him 1, 2 more shots. If that feels right to you, go ahead and do it. Okay, there is nothing like you are right, somebody else is telling right, this is right, that is right. What feels right to you, that is the belief system that you currently have. And you have to keep executing it. Someday that will not feel right to you and you will not do it. That is when expiry date has come, and then it will come to release. But today, if you have to learn to stand up for yourself in front of somebody, you should be able to do that. You should be able to, when somebody triggers and say, I'm going to divorce you, I'm going to divorce you because you are good for nothing, then what will you do? There are so many things that will come within you. There is a fear that if he divorces me, I am basically not working and I don't have financial independence. Where will I go? My parents are very old. They will not take me in. So there are so many such questions that will come through your mind. So what will you do? You will the belief system says, if I try to go out now, then I may not be able to sustain. I may not be able to survive. That is a belief system. So at that time, you should be willing to say, okay, fine. He's constantly telling me this. So let me start planning to look for a job, to do something. See, the dignity of labor should go off at that time. To start a person's life, we can start from anywhere. We should be able to say, I'm going to work as a maid in somebody else's house and still be able to survive my job. I'll start somewhere. I'll start from scratch. Let my independence be learned from scratch. I should be willing to do that. It's not like I'm waiting for IT jobs. Oh, nobody is giving me IT job. I'm not getting IT job. So I can't leave this person and go. So that fear was encapsulated through a belief system to say, if I go out, I can't live. I need this finance. So that belief system is what you're actually trying to melt. You're trying to give less importance to that belief system. The fear was just trying to tell you, hey, that belief system needs to get out. That belief system needs to get out. So when that person is telling you all these things, instead of having anger on that person, you should be able to think like this. What is it, that feeling that I'm getting? What is the belief system behind that fear? Why is this fear so fearful? What am I anxious about? Is that valid for me? Why should I think? Can I think opposite of that? Can I think opposite that I can live? I can live even when I go out. Can I think like that? If I think like that, what are the things that I should do to make that happen? And how much willing am I, how far am I willing to go to make that happen? The opposite happen. So like that, when you're constantly doing introspection, then you're so busy, you don't have time to be angry on the pose, isn't it? So like that, there are so many situations that are going to come in your life to say, this is the feeling. Acceptance is not about accepting them. We are not accepting them. We are not accepting the situation. We are not accepting the person. We are not accepting object. We are not accepting the experience. We are accepting ourselves. In that moment, what happened within us? We had the fear. We had a belief system around that fear that made me get shivers that he's going to divorce me or whatever. That is what you have to focus on. So as soon as your focus comes to that portion of you, subtract the fear. So you subtract the POSE, subtract and start to think of an opposite belief systems. What is it that I'm actually fearing here? Why am I fearing all these things? And then slowly try to make plans of overcoming that fear. Like this, many situations will come, but only if you sit and think bravely and say, I am willing to let go of this belief system. And I surrender this belief system to God. I don't need it anymore in my life because it is making me uncomfortable. And it is time to let go. And when you're letting go of the belief system, have a lot of respect for that belief system. It had actually given you great experience in the past when it became a new step, isn't it? When that became a new step in the past, it did give you a lot of good experience. It did teach you a lot of things in your life. So have the respect for all the belief systems that you're willing to let go of today. And say thank you and say, I'm no longer needing you, but thank you for actually. So it takes some amount of awareness to be able to sit and do all these things. Sit and do, stand and do, in the kitchen you are doing, so either way you're thinking at that level. But Bhagavad Gita doesn't give you all this gyan. It just says, endure it. If something is coming in your life and you don't like it, it is because of your karma. Karma means it is trying to teach you some tolerance. It is trying to teach you patience. It is trying to teach you so many other things like this. Do it, stay there. It just says, stay there without making a fuss. Which is what all that gyan that I told you is about, staying there without making a fuss only, no. Which I may take the step of saying, I'm going to leave this person and go because he's physically abusing me and I respect my body and I don't want to take all the beatings from somebody else. It may be my karma, but that karma can be fully accepted by not harnessing bad feelings about that person, not blaming the POSC, but still having a respect that he is a POSC, he is teaching me that I need to be able to become independent. And then you take your own decisions and walk out without having any bad feelings about the other person. That is still karma balancing only. Karma doesn't get balanced especially when you are still in body consciousness and you're still blaming and you're still angry and you're still reacting and you're still choosing to give energy to the belief system. But if you're willing to let go of the belief system and take any action, take whatever action you want, but you're willing to let go of the belief system, you're willing to melt the belief system, you're willing to surrender that to God and say, I don't, that's not necessary for me anymore. I'm willing to let it go. I'm willing to embrace the fear that I have. I'm willing to embrace the anxiety that I have. It's okay. I know whatever happens in my life, I'm going to definitely learn from it. Because I'm just an instrument. I'm a tool. I've been used. I'm being used for some experience by God. I know you will use me for the best, for my best. You are not trying to kill me or something. You're not trying to put me in harm's way. You have given me a body. You are the subtle body and the soul behind it has taken a body, obviously to self-realize, obviously to grow, obviously to get the divine experience. It can be in this body only. This body can be that lucky body to get to that state. Why not? They say that in every moment, we have the opportunity to become self-realized. Okay? So this is how you have to stay with the acceptance. You have to accept yourself in whatever state you are. That habit has to be developed. Okay, it's a habit. It's a habit to accept yourself in whatever state you are, with a belief system there, with a belief that I am going to, in every moment, I'm a new person. In every moment, I will still have to accept myself the way I am. And be willing to do the right thing. Be willing to act on the right thing. If you have to tell your children, don't watch TV because tomorrow is exam, be willing to do that. There may be some mothers who may say, it's okay, let them watch their TV. Tomorrow, God is going to give them the experience that they are willing to learn. Or there may be mothers who will say, whole life they will be suffering like us in jobs, behind children, cooking. If they are sitting and watching TV, it's okay. They are still in 7th standard, they are still in 8th standard. It's okay, it's not so important. There are mothers like that also. That is their belief system. If it feels right to them, let my children enjoy. They will know the right things. God is going to give them the right experiences. They will anyway, they are smart. All that confidence they will have. So what feels right to you, be willing to do that without expecting anything back. Keep willing to keep doing the same thing. Okay. So if you'll have any doubts, let me know. Uh, I can talk about it here. And yeah, you can unmute and then ask your questions if any. I hope I did not confuse you all. There were so many other things also I wanted to talk about, but I think next class, hopefully.
Thank you, Smita. I think this today's session was for me. Yeah, but I have to leave out. Otherwise, I could have.
Yeah, I know. Today's Shivratri, so
Yeah.
I didn't want to go beyond 7:30, so I wanted to stop now itself. So, which is why I opened up for questions now itself. If you don't have questions right now, that's fine. You can take your time and maybe come back on the WhatsApp group and ask your questions also. Anybody else? No questions? Okay, we have 10 more minutes.
Mitra,
Yeah. Yeah, Lalita?
so what I understood the summary is like when you get a fear, we built a belief system around it, and you said to come out of that belief system and accept ourselves. Is it right, or can you summarize or correct it?
Yes. See, belief systems are like cages. We are binding ourselves in a certain rule that it is going to be like this only, right? It is a boundary that we are putting ourselves. But God doesn't have a boundary, right? If we have to tomorrow be these free souls, not free souls, free subtle bodies, or free, if we have to feel At an enlightened level, how do we feel? We feel freedom. We feel that we are like this. That feeling, when will we get? When we don't have anything that is binding us. And what is binding us today is our limited belief systems. And those limited thinkings and all that comes majorly because, let's say, are living in the society, are everything. So how do we get out of this? Is in the last class, I covered that. When we are in these family kind of lives, the first thing that we have to learn is to basically be a slave to God. We may be that God. The knowledge says, hey, you are only that God. But then at this point in awareness, we are not yet aware that we God, and we can't fully play the role of God with our current level of awareness. But we can definitely learn to check our ego. When we learn to check our ego, our belief systems will be easy to, you will be willing to let go of those belief systems for God. So when we learn to be a slave of God, as of now, this is called karma yoga. Karma yoga in Bhagavad Gita says, be surrendered to God completely. How will you learn to surrender to some unknown person? Only when you learn to know the person, be with the person, be willing to love the person. And we don't have love for God also as of now. God is totally optional in our life. And our love for the world and worldly objects and our children and all of those things actually take priority in our life. We may do puja in the morning, Shivratri, or in the night, but then rest of the time we are still with our children, we are still cooking for them. So that every single act, we have to learn and say that we have to learn to believe that we are doing everything for God. Then what will happen if your child is shouting back at you or back answering you? Then we'll be able to correct the child without feeling bad for it or building on that things, building new belief systems. Every single time she shouts at me, she doesn't listen to me or he doesn't listen to me. We cook up these stories and create new limited belief systems for ourselves, right? So at that time, we can always say, this experience came to me because God wanted me to experience it. My master sent me this experience. So I'm okay with the experience. I'm okay to not hold any grudge on my POSC. Why is the master sending me this experience? Because he wants to show me that there is some limited belief system I have. Now, what is that limited belief system I have? We are actually willing to introspect in the direction of God. If we are having that love for God and we see God in every single thing that we are doing, and the slave is working only for God, and the slave knows only relationship with God. So when we are basically putting God in the center of every single thing that we do, whether it's kitchen work, whether it is cooking, whether it is being with children, thinking, whatever, then in every single act, you will think that God wants me to know something about myself, which I'm not willing to let go of till now. Why did I not willing to let go of? Because that was my original belief system, which I actually put a lot of energy into. Who is this I? God only made me put, because at that time that experience was necessary, that belief system was necessary. That's why energy was put to make it more strong. But today, that energy is needed to not make it strong, not continue to put more energy there. So when we stop putting energy, it will automatically melt. So for example, it's like this. When there is a plant and you're putting water every single day, the plant is growing well. It is getting nourished. But if you stop watering the plant, what will happen? Will it die the next day? It will not die the next day. It depending on the strength of the plant. If it's a tree, the tree might constantly take it from the, if it is still a small plant or a small sapling, it will die the next day itself. If it is slightly bigger plant, it will probably take one more day. If it is a bigger plant, it will probably take 2 more days. First, it will droop like this, and then it will dry. 2 more days, 3 more days, maybe 1 week. If it is a bigger plant, it will take few more days. So, how big is your cage? How strong is your cage? It depends on that. It takes so much more. Not watering. Not watering means be willing to let go of that belief system and not give it that importance. So we need to know what is a belief system that is actually something that is making us fearful, that we feel uncomfortable with. First, we need to know that. To be able to take the spotlight back on us, we should stop putting spotlight on the POSC. Why will you stop putting spotlight on the POC? If you believe that every experience is coming for my self-realization and not for theirs. Pose is also working for my self-realization only. However bad they are working for us. They are working for God. God is working through them for us to make us better. So put the spotlight on yourself and say, what is that belief system I need to stop watering? And then you'll get the idea. And you'll be able to recognize when that constantly happens. And every single day, it will remind you not to water, not to water, not to water, not to water. One day it will die. The belief system will die. And that fear that you had will escape and go and merge with the light. And then you will be fearless in that aspect. Okay, it's a journey. So it's like, remember that every single belief that we have is a plant. And once it becomes uncomfortable for you, when the pose makes you feel uncomfortable, be willing to immediately realize that this plant is on its way out and its time is nearing and we should stop watering it. That is the instruction from God through the pose. It's a message. But all of this we will be able to understand only when we are willing to stop looking at the pose in everything. But many times we will remember, we will not remember. It's a journey. But when you remember, keep trying to follow. When you can't remember, also accept that is also still yet to happen. Okay? I hope I was clear now.
Okay. Yes, yes.
In
Thanks,
whatever
Smita.
level we are, accept and be willing to think that I'm here. That also will come. I thought I was here, but actually I'm here. But this part also will come. I'm willing to accept this. Someday this also will happen. But I'm okay here. I'm willing to accept myself fully here also. So that is called full acceptance. And God is your partner on this journey. Don't forget. Be willing to bring him in every act of your life. He is the center point in every act of your life. Because all of this is happening because there is a God within you who's breathing you. You are not breathing. He's breathing you. There is, in the Shastras, what they say is, the Vayu God, okay, the wind God or the Vayu God is actually chanting a mantra for every single breath that you're taking. So in the Shastras, they say that there is a Abhimani God, Abhimani Devate, for everything that happens in your body. It's like he's controlling that part of the functionality inside your body. So there is a Devata who's basically doing that part. Now, who's breathing? Who's breathing you? Who's breathing this body? Now there is that Vayu who's actually breathing. And if he stops chanting that mantra, which actually creates the breath, obviously, it is time for this body to die. That is why he stopped chanting. So it is like that. So when we are willing to accept that every single thing is actually happening because of some instruction from God for this tool, then you'll be willing to do it, no? So that connection has to come with God. In every act, believe that you are an instrument of God only. That is when you'll become a good slave of God. And the journey is to basically become a great slave and then go beyond that and to realize that you are the master. You were the master. If you've seen the movie Harry Potter, He'll see his own self from the future doing something, doing a Patronus charm on to let's say chase the Death Eaters. If you've seen the Harry Potter movie, he'll not realize that he was the same. It was him only who did it. Like that, we will realize that we are only working with ourselves as an instrument unless we go to that point to realize that, hey, I was the instrument and I was only controlling. I was only doing all this. But we will not understand that unless we are willing to be the slave, be that instrument first. Okay? Yeah. So it is 7:30. Wishing all of you a very happy Shivratri. Shiva is basically the Tattva Jnana, the Tattva Jnanam that we are all receiving today as a part of the satsang. So, which is exactly why I didn't want to stop this class today, because this knowledge, the truth, the absolute truth is absolutely important for us to grow in our journey. And hence, I really am very grateful to Lord Shiva and Parvati, his Shakti, which is coming to us in the form of this cosmos and experiences. Thank you so much, dear Shiva, dear Shakti. We will end with Trayambakam Yajamahe, if all of you are okay. Trayambakam Yajamahe, Sugandim Pushtivardhanam, Urvarukam Iva Bandhanat, Mrityor Mokshiyamamritat. To the Supreme God, I thank you for your divine blessings, to my spiritual teacher, to all the spiritual teachers, holy masters, all the saints, holy angels, spiritual helpers, and all the great ones. We thank you for your great, great blessings. Thank you so much. Okay. Happy
Thank you.
Shivratri. Goodbye to all of you. Stay blessed.